When was the last time you got a thing, a gizmo, a video game, some kind of thing that you hadn't yet looked up too much information on, or you hadn't looked up a tutorial of how anything works, and you just opened it and just started messing with it? I remember when I remember back when I was a kid. I can't remember exactly how old I was, but we had the Nintendo 64. And I remember when we got the Ocarina of Time. And there was a part in that game, and it was the part in the Lost Woods that I couldn't figure out what way to go. And if you didn't know the trick to get through it, you would just keep getting spat back out at the beginning. And I remember it being frustrating, and also at the same time, when I figured out it was the music you were listening to, and that was how you found your path through the Lost Woods. It was kind of that moment in that game for me that made me go like, man, I love this game. Because there's been moments before that just did similar things just like that over and over and over again. And back then, I didn't have a cell phone to look up the answer. There wasn't a playthrough or a walkthrough. The only way you really could figure stuff out was just by doing that. And basically just grinding it out until you figured it out. And I haven't had that feeling in a while. And then I got this high chord. And that's what's kind of stemmed the whole idea for this video. There's not really any tutorials for this thing yet out because it's so low-key underground. I'm certain it will get popular. The man that made it is very brilliant, and what this little thing can do is quite amazing, that it's portable and you can fit it in your pocket. And anyways, before I bought it, there's videos out there of people using it, reviewing it, but I didn't look that much up on it, and I kind of did it on purpose because I wanted to get something that I could just play and figure out on my own. Now there's a manual for it, and of course all that stuff, but I didn't even look at any of that. I'm fairly familiar with musical gear. I played in a metal band when I was in high school, so it's always been sort of a natural thing for me to pick up quick, and it just reminded me of playing Zelda Ocarina of Time. And it also reminded me of why I really love photography, and I love astrophotography. The year was 2018. I had just freshly broken my collarbone from doing a triathlon. I crashed my bike, and I couldn't work for 3 months. And the first month it was awesome, but you can only play so much Breath of the Wild and watch Westworld until you start to kind of lose your mind. And so after a month of just being high on pain meds, it was just kind of I need something to do. I need to learn something. I need something to figure out, some kind of creative outlet. And photography had always been in the back of my mind because in high school I took a photography class and I loved it. It was probably one of my favorite classes in high school. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a film camera that I had, and you'd get to develop your film. The professor would give you a project to go shoot moving water or something. I remember having my brother jump in a puddle and make a big splash. I wish I still had these photos, man. Freak, dude. It was a blast. But anyways, After breaking my collarbone, chilling for a month, I was done. I went and just bought a Nikon camera from Best Buy, and then I came home, immediately just ripped it open, and I just started firing off shots. Later in that week, we went up to our family cabin, and I brought my camera with me, and I remember seeing like photos of astrophotography, and I had no idea how to take these photos. I didn't know what equipment you needed. I didn't know if you needed a special lens. I didn't know any of the settings. I just got my camera, and then when the sun went down, I drove up the highway. There's no service at my cabin, so I hadn't looked up anything. I just willy-nilly ran into the forest. I didn't even know how to put my lens into manual focus. And I ran up there, got my camera out on a tripod, and I just tried to just figure it out. And somehow, a miracle freaking happened. I just kept pushing on the autofocus button, hoping it would just get focus of the pitch black night sky. And sure enough, it did. As soon as I saw that image on the back of my LCD screen, I was like, oh my gosh, dude. This is what I want to do. This is the kind of photography that I want to take. And then I just went down the rabbit hole of that. But there's something about just figuring it out. It's way more rewarding. And in this day and age, with all the information that's out there, like, it's awesome that you can learn something so quickly now. And you literally can just type into YouTube whatever you want to learn. You can find a video on it. I remember after taking that photo and I got back, I still had 2 months to burn, and I got a subscription to Skillshare, and I learned everything about cameras, the basic triangle of exposure, all that stuff. I just soaked it up like a sponge. And I'm not trying to say that it's bad to learn that way or anything, but there's something about just figuring it out for yourself, the reward of just doing something and letting the beautiful disaster that comes from it be the reward. And it just reminded me of me getting that image and what that has done for me in photography since then. And I love kind of comparing all the art forms together. That's why I included Ocarina of Time. It's like probably the best Zelda game ever made. Fight me on this one, brother. Fight me, brother. But there's something to that. And I feel like we get so wrapped up in if we're doing it right, if our exposure's perfect, if we have the right gear for it. The freaking lens I shot that image on was an f3.5. Didn't even drop down to 2.8, dude. I barely had enough light to let into the camera, and I was struggling with all the settings on it, but I figured it out and somehow made like this. Just, it's very, compared to what's out there. But to me at the time, and when I showed my family members that photo and my wife, they were like blown away. They were like, oh my gosh, a camera can take that? It can see that? And it's just that experience. I feel like with all the information that we have now, I feel like some people let it paralyze them and stop them from going and doing that. Because instead of what they're doing now is they're consuming so much information, and instead of just going and doing something, thinking they need just the perfect gear, thinking they need to have the right lens, thinking that everything's got to be perfect before you go do it. It's like, no, just go and do it. Just run into that wall. Just figure it out. Like, it will happen. And I just feel that gets stolen from you now that you just can get the information so easily. Because it's the process of coming up or figuring things out for yourself, it's so rewarding. Just like in Zelda, when you figure out how to get through the Lost Woods. Just like for me, when I went and took that photo and I had no idea what I was doing, the reward at the end of that, figuring it out for yourself, there's something to it. And sometimes I think you just need to figure it out yourself. Yeah, that's what I got.